One of the key aspects of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, and it should apply across EU policies, whether internally or externally, is that it should contribute to all human rights for all persons with disabilities. The all is actually extremely important because historically there was this tendency to consider that some person with disability, for instance, person with intellectual disability or person with psychosocial disability, might not be able to vote, to get married, to make decisions on their own. And the Convention is very clear on that. Yes, they do. They do have capacity and they do have the right to make those decisions for themselves. It's also about more marginalized groups like deafblind, person who have their blind, which you never see and you never hear. And then the Convention is very clear that they have all human rights like anybody else. And this is a very important feature of the Convention. You cannot deny the right to somebody because you think it counts. The thing is, they have the right. What should be done in the environment? What kind of support needs to be there so people can exercise their rights? So people understood that if I want to vote and there are stairs and I'm in a wheelchair, I cannot go to vote. So they understand you need to put a ramp. Okay, maybe it's a bit more difficult for me than for some others to understand exactly what's written. But if you explain to me a bit in a simple words, I will get it. And I will get it. I will be able to vote. That's one of the findings of the World Report on Disability, which has been issued in 2011, which we knew from a long time, but it's confirmed. It's basically, if you are poor, you are more likely to become disabled because of many issues, safety, nutrition, housing, etc., etc. And if you are disabled, you are most likely to be poor and to remain poor, which is one of the big issues with regards to MDG, Millennium Development Goals, or poverty reduction, is that if the design of those programs is not well done for including persons with disability, first they will not benefit because they have less coping mechanisms than other poor persons. So there is a need to have a complementary support. So for instance, if you have poverty assistance, persons with disability that are poor need poverty assistance, but they need also the disability assistance to get out of poverty. So those are the things we are working on. In the Millennium Development Goals, people with disability were nowhere to be found. Interestingly enough, the expert panel on data revolution from the UN clearly said it for the monitoring of the MDG, that persons with disability were nowhere to be found. And this is really something that with the new Sustainable Development Goals, or the post-2015, that we want to see tackled, is that we want explicit reference to persons with disability, their inclusion in different goals such as education, health, poverty reduction, and the idea of disaggregating data. We want to know how many children with disability are out of school, and we want to know how many children with disability are in school. We want to know it in 2015, in 2020, and in 2025, so that we can measure if yes or no efforts have been made so that kids can exercise and enjoy their rights to education. You have a program in the communities that would be about street theater or plays or radio spot or TV shows with some, in some countries now you have like persons with disability that are radio talk show. I know someone in Philippines who is a great talk show guy and makes not only about disability, but because he is a person with disability doing non-disability thing, it's also raised awareness that people with disability can do and are everywhere and should do everywhere, should do everything everywhere. The challenge and what people should get is first is with the fact that EU ratified the CRPD, the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, it's not an option anymore. If you don't do it, you violated the law. And that's quite important. People might not be all aware of it, but actually it's the fact. And the second thing is, it's feasible. Takes time, not that easy. Will require some efforts, but it's not that much.